Okay, here we are back for another exciting roll. This one's going to be a 1955D. This one, oh, I didn't change. This is reveal number 341. Gotta get myself back into habit here. There, change my title. Okay, so here we go. We've got our roll ready to go. Let me open it up. Get the coins out. And we're ready now. Can everybody hear me? Everybody understand? Is anybody here? Oh, wait a minute. I had the wrong chat on. Okay, there we go. Looks like I'm by myself right now. Oh, there's Eric. Okay. And Starbuck is here. All right. Sounds good. So, coin number 1 goes to Malcolm. Let's see what we have for coin number 1. Oh, coin number 1 is an RPM. There's an RPM with double split serifs, split upper, split lower. So what kind of marker we have? Bunch of die cracks in the head. Bunch of nifty little die cracks in the head on this one. So that'll be our way to remember this particular one. Let's check the reverse real quick. Now, reverses are not known for double dies on 1955D. We'll check the first 10 coins. Okay. Now, number 2, go Wi-Fi. Same die, it looks like. Yep, same die for go Wi-Fi. Another relatively minor repunchment mark, split upper and lower. Hello, P. Adams. And nothing on the reverse for this particular obverse die. That's 2 RPMs out of 2 coins. Doing pretty good there. Here's Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher up next. It's another RPM. This is a different one. It's a little fatter than the last. Bit of a minor split upper, split lower. I'm not sure this is going to be a listable one, but we're going to take a good look at it anyway. This one doesn't have the die cracks in the head, but it has one. Well, it does have one, but it's right across the forehead. Right here. Right across the forehead. We don't have one in the hair, though. We'll take the reverse side of this and see what is going on there. A little bit of a Larry. Got a die chip on the upper left wheat lines. Die chip toward the rim there. And nothing else. Accept it for what it is. Another different repunchment mark. Now coin number 4, Stephen A. Stephen A gets, well, it's another one of our first die. Die 1 of the roll. It's got that, well, looks like some sort of a fish up here. Big teardrop shaped die crack. So that's kind of how I'm remembering that one. Nice clash of the C and cent right here. That's the C and cent making this clash. And another example of die 1 for the roll for Stephen. Now Mike Birchman. Behave over here. There we go. Now for Mike Birchman. Mike gets, well, there's another one. Another example of the same RPM again. That's for Mike. Next up, coin number 6. This one goes to Sissy. And Sissy will get, well, this coin appears to be a normal coin. So we've broken our streak. A lot of cracks on the die on the forehead and the hair, but it doesn't have any doubling on it. You can see a little crack coming down from the E of Liberty. It looks like that was something that was going to eventually bust into a full buy, but at this stage it's just a die crack. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. Different die for us to be looking at. I know what's going on. My light needed to be brighter. That's right. No amount of camera compensation can be done for a dim light. I just realized I need to turn my light up some. All right. So coin number 6 is our first coin in the roll that doesn't have an RPM. Coin number 7, well, will be our second coin in the roll without an RPM. That looks like it belongs to the same die as the previous coin. Now for number 8. Number 8, we've got Eric coming up next. And on Eric's coin, we don't see anything special around the mint mark area. And once again, it looks like we've got cracks all over the head. And die crack off the E. It looks like the same die again. Now for number 9, Mr. McBride. Mr. McBride gets... it looks like a normal coin. This one is another example of the same die. Again. Scope's brand is Amscope. They did absolutely nothing when I asked them if I could help them advertise or help advertise their microscopes. They basically came back and said, no, we don't do that. And so I don't generally mention what kind of microscope I have because, well, they didn't help me any. So I'm not really helping them any. Now Carl gets another one of the RPMs, and number 1 for the roll. Yes, 1955 Philadelphia is the big double die. That's the one that everybody's after. They're worth over $1,000. Really nice coins. This one is another RPM 1 for the roll. Our first RPM for the roll. Thomas gets this one. We're getting a bunch of RPMs in this one. Now for number 12, Penny Hoarder. Penny Hoarder, straight up. Yeah, I told them that I could probably make a lot of microscope sales for them if they wanted me to advertise. All I wanted was like a 10% discount on my scope, and they were like, we don't do that. Okay, fine. Dynolite, on the other hand, they gave me a microscope to use in my shows to advertise for them. It works relatively well, but not as good as my Amscope. I like the Amscope better. Now for Malcolm, got another one. Well, this roll's just filled with those. Our teardrop shaped die break in the hair and our sea clash above Liberty. Now number 14, Penny Hoarder. That one is a normal coin. Normal coin got a hit up on the mint mark. It's otherwise a normal coin. Yeah, this is going to be... well, so far we've only seen 3 different dies, I believe. It's either normal or it's one of 2 different RPMs. Farm Dog, but all of them have some interesting looking die cracks on them. There's another RPM 1 for the roll. There's your die chip again. Next up, number 16 for Yo Man. Normal one. So this one's probably going to have the clash on the C. Nope, this is a little bit different. It's about the same. It could be the same die. Probably is. Now number 17. Bob Hampton. Bob? I'm not seeing anything here. Number 18, Sissy. Another normal coin. Same die again, probably. How about number 19? Adam Connor. What scope would I recommend for a somewhat beginner novice, or is the lighting? The lighting has a lot more to do with it than the scope itself. The lighting is much more important than your microscope. I don't particularly recommend any of the digital microscopes. The lighting is usually wrong on them, and you have to get them too close to the coin to be able to control the lighting. And given that, they tend to not work very well for microscopic view. I use a regular non-electronic, non-electric microscope, and I have a special light that feeds into the microscope using a couple of gooseneck arms. And it's a, that was another one of the RPM ones, sorry. Here's Jim Fletcher. It uses a halogen bulb inside of a box with a fan that leads through a couple of gooseneck fiber optic lines that I bring around and shine on the coin. The boxes are pretty expensive. Generally, the stuff I use is not stuff I would recommend to any beginner because it's too expensive. The scope and light together that I have set up right here that you're looking through was about $1,400 for the set. So there's you another RPM 1 for the roll right there. Looks like it's got 3 little serifs on the bottom, maybe, and 2 up top. A little hit above the eye, but it has our little fish-shaped, looks like a fat fish, a fish-shaped die chip in the hair. This one's for Marshall. Hello, Patrick and Robert. Thank you very much to both of you. It was definitely an adventuresome trip. This is another RPM 1 for the roll. It's got a big old Larry running across the head, but it's still got that same die chip, same die clash, same RPM. Show coming up this next Tuesday. Actually, we've got a whole week lined up. Just go to the videos section. Take a look at the upcoming videos on this channel. We've got a whole lineup coming up. I've got 8 more reveals to do beyond the one I'm doing right now. There's a 1966, a 61D, a 60D, a 1946S, a 1943S. And others. Then we've got the auction setup, Jessica's Auction, Midwest Edition, coming up on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. Central Time. Sorry, 6 p.m. Central Time. And then Tuesday, that will be on the 4th of January, I believe it is. We will have a show, another auction. The regular copper coins auction will be on Tuesday. Change of time, though. Change of time. We're going to be doing 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I know that's only 4 p.m. on the West Coast. But unfortunately, after I get into this and get just so far down the line, this is our normal die that we've been finding. I end up 10:30, 11 o'clock getting finished with my auction. And then if I try to send invoices the same night, I'm 1, 2 o'clock in the morning going to bed. I don't like that. So I have to run my auction a little bit earlier because they are taking more time than I had planned for. It's another one of our normal coins. Almost done unpacking everything in McAllen, Texas. McAllen, Texas. I think I know where that is. That's not very far from Wichita Falls, right? Another normal one. Yeah, we get Larry's once in a while. It's just a part of the gig. Anytime you're busting open 60, 65, 70-year-old rolls, you're going to find something once in a while that's not going to suit your taste, which is just an unfortunate part of the gig. It's another one of our RPM 1 for the roll. It's a double split serve. It's got that fish-shaped die break in the hair, and a little die clash next to the Y of Liberty, showing the Sea of Scent on the reverse of the coin. Only been there a couple of weeks. I think McAllen, Texas is actually pretty decent. It's a small town, I think. If I'm thinking of the place that I think I'm thinking of. See if you could follow that. This is our normal die. Now number 31, Marshall. Mr. Marshall. Looks like another normal one. It is. It's another one of our normal die. It's got that little die crack running off the E. It also has one running off the B. The BE of Liberty. You can see at the top of the B and the E there's a little bit of doubling. That doubling is actually master die doubling. It happened on all 1955 Lincoln cents, including the proofs. So it is nothing because it's a part of the master. And when the master is doubled, everything under the master is doubled. Exactly as the master was doubled, because everything shares the master's fingerprint. This is a RPM 1 for the roll again. There's our fish-shaped die crack or chip in the hair. Our die clash next to the Y of Liberty. Well, awesome. 45 minutes away. There's a day trip for you. It'd be a day trip for me because once I get to a coin show, I'm usually there for 3 or 4 hours before I leave. So 45 minutes away, 45 minutes home, and 4 hours in a coin shop is 5.5 hours. That sounds like a day trip to me. Another one of our normal ones. Do we have a problem person in here? I appreciate you taking care of us, Mikey. You'll be watching for that. Posting adult sites. Wonderful. Not like they don't have anything better to do with their lives. There's another RPM number 1 for the roll. Boy, we come up with a big stack of those. We got over a dozen of them already. This one's for Eric. Now number 35, Paul Hampton. Paul. Normal coin. Normal. It's got our little die crack off the E and the B. And it's got our huge die cracks all over the hair. That's another one of the normal die that we've been running into. Now number 36, Miss Atwell. Sissy got a nice RPM 1 for the roll. Oops. There we go. Some of you folks who are just showing up might be wondering, why is he fingering all of these old coins and not wearing gloves? Because, you know, a lot of people are trained now to wear gloves when they handle coins. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm better at handling coins with no gloves after I have very thoroughly washed my hands and gotten all the skin oils off of my hands. And my hands are probably better, cleaner, and drier than anyone wearing cotton gloves. So there you have it. I can feel everything going on. I grab the coins by the edges only. There's another RPM 1 for the roll. Just as I do that, I drop a coin. But it went on my keyboard, so it didn't fly very far. Here's Adam. A lot of people have the misnomer, or the misunderstanding, you might say, that coins are extremely, extremely fragile and brittle, and they're very, 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 very easy to damage. Well, that's not necessarily true. Coins were made in machine presses under thousands of tons of force, dropped into hoppers, which dropped the coins into bags, which were loaded onto pallets, thrown into trucks by a forklift, and taken to a bank where they were ripped apart or cut apart, thrown into a counting machine, run through the counting machine and put into rolls where they were sent to banks. Then those rolls were usually broken open over the edge of a table or a register of some sort, tossed into another compartment where those coins were then given out to customers. So your coins go through hell before they ever make it to you. As long as your hands are clean, you're fine. That's the moral to the story. That was another RPM 1 for the roll. Now we're going on to Taco John. Taco John's had, well, a huge streak of luck today. And, well, that might be ending now. He gets a regular coin with a Larry on it. Gets a normal coin with a Larry, unfortunately. Did Fred Weinberg pass away? Hell, I don't know. I do not know. That hit me as a surprise. If he did, I didn't know about it. Here's another normal 55D. I'm going to check on that, though. Where did you hear Patrick selling all of his cuds off? He might or might not be collecting cuds. I mean, I know that there's people who write books about stuff to the point, I mean, you know, they collect stuff, they write books about the stuff, and then they just sell it all off because they're done. They move on to something else. It doesn't necessarily mean they've died. It's another RPM 1 for the roll for Steven. I'll check into it. I'll definitely check into it. I'll give him a call. See if he answers the phone. Paul. Another RPM 1 for the roll. Got a story about Fred Weinberg. I went to dinner with him one time at the Pittsburgh A&A convention in August of 2004. And went to dinner with him and a group of other guys, including Arnie Margolis and Richie Schemmer. We were sitting at dinner, and I realized that it was my mother's birthday. And I mentioned that it was my mother's birthday, and Richie suggested I grab my phone and give her a call. Well, I didn't have my phone, but Fred had his. So I called my mother using Fred's cell phone, and she answered the phone. And Fred Weinberg, Arnie Margolis, Richie Schemmer, and myself gave the best possible rendition of Happy Birthday to my mother from an Italian restaurant in downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's a story you'll never hear anywhere else. That's an exclusive, just for you. But yeah, I'll have to check in on Fred. But because they're selling coins doesn't necessarily mean that he's passed on. All right, there's another RPM 1 for the roll. Looks like we're nearing 2 dozen of those. So it seems to be a very prolific die in this particular roll. Now coin number 50. Last coin in the roll goes to Marshall. Mr. Marshall, whom I haven't heard from in a while. I need to check up on him. This is a different repunchment mark altogether. I have not seen this in this roll. It has a split upper, a split lower, and a doubled vertical. You can see that the vertical is doubled on the inside. Hang on just a second. Let me redo my scope so that you can see it. This is a split serif. Down here is a split running. And then right here, this is actually 2 verticals that have been minted over one another. You've got the bottom sticking out here, and then it goes underneath. And that's the serif that belongs with that. And then you've got the serif here that goes down here and belongs underneath. This is a D over D tilted. It's not north, not south, not east, not west. You can't give it a direction because they were punched right on top of one another. They were just tilted with one another. You've got this is your primary down here, and then this is your primary up here. Primary mint mark is different on both sides, so you've got one mint mark over another without either one of them being a primary, and that is what we call tilted. Yes, I did know about Misplaced Youper Girl. Amy, I did know about that. So this is a different RPM altogether. Last coin in the roll, and it goes to Marshall. We have 3 different varieties in this roll. We have this RPM. This is the RPM 1. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 of them. We've got 20 of them. And then we have one that belongs to a different die. And then we have one that belongs to yet a different die. So we have 3 different dies in this, RPMs, and a total of 22 coins, which means that there are 28 normal coins in the roll for a total of 50. And that's what we've got on this. I'm done with shows for today. I do appreciate you guys showing up. I will be here tomorrow with more exciting roll reveals. I hope you guys have a great night, a great evening, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.